to get underway.
Very, very interesting, Bill, because both sides will look across the field at the opposition and both will be thinking the same things. This is eminently winnable. Steve McNamara has guided to his side to 4 back-to-back wins in the last month, and they've really breathed fire into the life of their season, haven't they? And the cup competition arguably has come at the wrong time for them, but if there's a way that either of these two sides and either of these two coaches could gather even more momentum than they already have done in the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's by progressing to a semi-final. Both teams will think they can win this. Both teams have got the recent evidence to suggest they can win this.
I'll tell you what else both teams have got. The best weather, the best pitch, the best conditions in the season so far. Let's hope they deliver the best game.
And it'll be the Catalan Dragons getting us underway. Josh Drinkwater puts boot to ball, and Jake Mamo, first touch of the ball. No Akuma tie for this Huddersfield Giants side. That's a big loss. Sebastien Ikahihi-Fo, therefore, in possession, will have extra work to do. Aaron Murphy for this Huddersfield Giants side, who had a good run latterly under interim coach Chris Thorman, who ended up with 4 straight wins and a draw in his 10 games in charge. So pretty pleased with that. Now over to Simon Wolford, who's just arrived in the country, the 43-year-old. 12 years with Canberra Raiders, Simon Wolford had, and on his first big break now in coaching. Here's Jake Mamo, and David Meads gets a hold of him to make the tackle. It's about 20 metres or so out. Brough on the last, puts the kick in, and Tony Gigo is there to collect it.
That's a great start to the game for Huddersfield Giants, although they conceded a penalty. Perhaps at the very end there they've made a mistake, haven't they? But they've stretched their opponents, they've tested them in defence, they've drained some of the energy, forced them to scramble, and then had caught, trapped them in that corner. But the player's offside, and all of a sudden Catalan are relieved with a brilliant kick. That's one of the features of the Catalan Dragons. The penalty kicks to touch get more grain than most teams.
So Huddersfield did so well with that opening set, and then just too enthusiastic in the chase, which has relieved the pressure early on. Here's Michael McAlorum.
It was actually great work from David Mead, who put kick pressure on Danny Brough. He's chosen to go down the short side, and the centre and the winger, Marmo and Madano McIntosh, not on side, couldn't get behind the kicker. Great work from David Mead.
Catalan have beaten Huddersfield already this season. That was Easter Monday, when they beat the visiting Giants in Perpignan. Michael McAlorum now, twice a Challenge Cup winner in his Wigan days, and a growing influence on this Catalan Dragon side, the Irish international. Josh Drinkwater hoists that kick into the sunny spaces, and Jordan Rankin shrugs off the challenge of Greg Bird.
Well, nobody seemed keen to come in for that, did they? It was a brilliant kick. One of the features of tonight's game, I think, were the kicks from Brough and from Drinkwater. Playing fullback whenever you play against the Huddersfield Giants isn't the easiest night. When Brough starts to put that ball high in the air, which I'm sure he will at some stage, you've got to hope your fullback has a season best performance.
Here's Adam O'Brien, former Bradford Bull. And Jordan Turner now on his own 40-metre line, just inside his own 40, in fact. As Turner is tackled, and the ball back to Brough. Brough kicks deep, and it's between Tierney and Gigo, and it's the winger who collects that ball and then turns and runs it back as far as his 20, where the reception committee is waiting.
Good recognition from the Catalan Dragons. The main kicking threat from the Huddersfield Giants is, of course, Danny Brough. Both ends of sets, both gone to Brough. Brough having to kick on both occasions under some really committed kick pressure. First from David Mead, second from Michael McAlorum.
Huddersfield looked pretty good in beating Salford 24-16 last Friday. And they're looking to build on that, but that's good hands for Jody Broughton, once a Huddersfield Giants try-scorer. Prolific try-scorer in his Giants days.
That's brilliant play. When they've got forwards passing the ball, it sets up the first 2 tries to them against Leeds last week. Casti and Moore offloading before the line.
There's Casti taking the tackle, playing it loose forward as Drinkwater stabs a little kick in, and they're going to watch that one go dead, although Braden Williame was looking alert for that.
I think Josh Drinkwater was complaining that he was actually taken out, and the referee has eventually agreed with him. Perhaps the touch judge is going to come on and give him notification. Just watch the man who kicks the ball. He's tackled and pulled to the ground by Adam O'Brien. Is that a late tackle? He's probably released it, so yes, you just see him grab the back of his shirt. Penalty goal where the ball bounces, and the Dragons could either go 2-0 up or chance their arm and go for a try.
Gareth Hewitt, the referee, spotting that, and Remy Casti indicating that the Catalan decision is to go for 2 points, and Adam O'Brien not impressed with that decision, but he was late on the scene. And Josh Drinkwater, trying to follow the kick up, was obstructed, says the match officials, or say the match officials, sorry, and Josh Drinkwater will try and take full price for that.
I do think it's significant that they go for 2, not just because of the 2 points, but because the Dragons then become the first team to get points on the scoreboard. And I think that's important for 2 teams that have lacked confidence for a large part of the season and then have discovered some form and some momentum. Steve McNamara very, very quick in his decision to go for the 2, take the 2 points available.
Josh Drinkwater, who's in good form, he got a try and 4 goals in the victory over Leeds last time out. He's been a good recruit in the middle of the season, has Drinkwater, with Luke Walsh, of course, hanging up his boots through injury, and Drinkwater on target. Catalan get first points on the board with just 5.5 minutes gone.
Well, a nice kick, I suppose, too, for a kicker, really. One who's not had that much success this season. He's the 4th goal kicker they've used this year. Bangs 2 points over. They started the game strongly last week, and we all know what that did to the confidence. Those you see on the right, the new Huddersfield Giants coach, Simon Wolford, I think disappointed and frustrated with the penalty they conceded in the corner, which allowed the Giants to get out from that set.
So the restarts. It's fielded by Braden Williami, who's really had a gruelling week, Braden Williami. He's dashed home immediately after the last game against Leeds last week for a family bereavement, and had a very quick visit home, attended the funeral, and turned around and came straight back. And it's a big effort from him. Apparently he's in pretty good shape, all things considered.
So that's there and back in 4 days, isn't it?
It can be done, Phil.
Yeah,
Speaking from experience.
I know it can be done, but it's a major challenge for me here tonight.
Great run again from Remy Casti. A real feature of the Catalans' performance and victory last week was the work post-contact from Benjamin Garcia and Remy Casti. Real captain's knock again from him last week, and he'll be wanting to continue in the same vein. Good take again from Huddersfield, but good chase and follow-up from the Dragons.
Darnell McIntosh collecting that high kick, but being then collected by Garcia and co. That's McGilvray. Getting back into the groove, Jermaine McGilvray, after 7 games out, getting back into the groove. Good to see him back. Leroy Cudjoe, first appearance of the season for him. He gets a roar from the Giant supporters on his return. Out since September last year, early September in fact, when he picked up that knee injury. Brough trying to get away from Greg Bird, but Bird hounds him down on the last, and it's Turner who belts the kick in. Giant supporters didn't like that challenge. Gareth Hewitt is just wondering if he was listening to video ref.
Yeah, he's happy to let it play on. I'll be interested, Bill, to see how much traffic they run in the direction of Leroy Cudjoe as a reference. First time back in a while, Gigo going down, claiming to be contacted in the head. They didn't have a problem with that, but Gigo is going to force them to look at this.
The arm slipped up, didn't it?
Well, that's embarrassing.
From Mellor.
Well, I'd be embarrassed if I was the player.
You don't think he made contact with the jaw?
I think that a player is simulating.
That bounces up and hits him on the jaw.
I think that he's trying to draw a penalty out of the referee. The referee's having none of it.
Contact with the head. 3 penalties. Have a word with him.
the more you look at it, he does make contact with the jaw.
I'm not going to say that there was zero contact. I think he simulated the... Here we go. There we go. Well, the players have got to decide what sort of a game they want.
Here we go, this is the incident. Well, Gigo reacted instantly from Mellor's swinging arm.
I'll go back to the point, Bill, on Leroy Cudjoe. I'll be interested to see what Catalan do, what plan they have for Leroy Cudjoe. Man has been out for so long, really talented player, and you're right, it's great to see him back out again. But will they send traffic at them? Will they try and wear Leroy Cudjoe down and perhaps fatigue him and find some gaps in and around Leroy Cudjoe in defence?
Casti, who has been outstanding this season, latterly in the loose forward role. Sam Moa. Drinkwater's short ball taken by Garcia. Huddersfield fans not impressed with the way the game's going for their side at the moment, but Sam Moa rumbling towards those posts, and they're only a couple of metres away. That's the fifth tackle. McIlorum, little grubber kick from him, and I think Cudjoe got a touch on that.
Well, I think there's been a massive improvement in Michael McIlorum's threatening attacking play in the last month, both passing, running, and those kicks into the in-goal area. He really has kicked on. I thought he had a disappointing start to the season. Here's the pass to Benjamin Garcia. Hasn't gone forward. They've gone on, rolled forward along with that.
And you think about the kick options that now gives an opposition they need to think about. Gigo from full-back position, Greg Bird, Josh Drinkwater, and Michael McIlorum as well, a live threat from the base of the ruck. That makes it an altogether different proposition defending, because you don't know where the threat is. Really affects how your back three set up.
Catalan in possession, Gigo, and now Mika Simon, once of Wakefield. Oof, good run from him. Good response from the Giants. Hinchcliffe as ever with the tackle. Here's Lewis Tierney now. Not one of the biggest wingers around, but punches above his weight, does Lewis Tierney. Drinkwater, Samoa. Ikahihifo and Mellor with the tackle on him. Hinchcliffe again in there. Regular top tackler for this Huddersfield Giants side, who are on the defence now. Bird quickly on that loose ball, and it's picked up by Brough. Tierney gets a hold of him, and it's Mead who has the ball, but the referee will call them back.
Trying to work out here. Look, they're trying to go wide here. Greg Bird attempts to find his teammate. I'm not sure where the knock-on is from any point to with the Huddersfield side. I didn't see one, but the referee has. And Huddersfield chance their arm, but Mead intercepts. I thought the ball seemed to go backwards from the Catalan side. They were desperate to find that width. And that goes backwards off Benjamin Julian. Goes backwards again, and backwards. It's always going towards the try line at the right end of the stadium for me.
Well, it's Gareth Hewer's verdict that matters, and they're on the break now with Darnell McIntosh. Has he got the pace? Tierney has instead to make the tackle. Did well to get back there, and then there's a penalty conceded. And that's another aspect that we might not really like. Players demanding that another player is sin bin.
No, it's a joke, is that Tierney and McIntosh was a great foot race, wasn't it? Let's look at the positives out of this. McIntosh found a really good line and side through it directly from the scrum. Try-saving effort from that man, but it might just delay the inevitable in terms of Huddersfield putting points on the board, and it looks like they're going to turn down the opportunity for two. They are.
They're going to test this Catalan Dragons defence now, really for the first time in the game since that opening set of 6. Oh, but that's a poor stray pass, and the ball's gone forwards, and the referee will award the scrum to the Catalan Dragons.
It's Gareth O'Brien's pass again. He's looked to square his hips up at the line, which is what you would need to do to set a defender, make him sit on his heels, but then the execution of the pass, not good enough. Difficult for Turner to scoop and keep control of, and that's an opportunity wasted, because Darnell McIntosh in the build-up, the break directly from the scrum was really top-class stuff.
Is it possible, though, the reason why these two teams are in the bottom half of the table is because they can't find the width? Here's the break by Darnell McIntosh. After a Catalan error, attempting to pass the ball wide in attack. Great recovery by Lewis Tierney. But then when the Giants try to pass the ball, they haven't got the accuracy, the timing, or the players in the right places with the right skills to find and create the overlaps that we see from the teams who sit at the top.
Well, they haven't been doing a bad job of it in recent weeks. Not either of these sides a better job than they had been doing in the earlier weeks of the season. Put it like that. It's Greg Bird, ferocious run from Bird. And now Simon running strong is the Catalan Dragons prop, starting this one, Mikel Simon. With Julien Busquet on the bench, normally the other way round, and Sam Moa likewise. Just missed 2 games this season, and those were from suspension in after the first game of the season. Drinkwater hoists that kick towards Jordan Rankin. Safe underneath the high ball, the Giants fall back.
That's a decent kick, decent chase, containing chase rather than trying to put any pressure to retake possession. But the Dragons line, they're set, they're compressed. They're going to try and reduce meters. Not like that though, big shot.
But fair play to Jermaine McGilvray. He bounced off that challenge.
Well, there's 2 things when Jermaine McGilvray has the ball. Stopping him is task 1, and not conceding a penalty. If you can achieve task 1 is the second one. Here's the tackle later on when they've offloaded the ball, but if he doesn't make ground, he very often wins a penalty for his team because people struggle to put him to ground. He hasn't been back to the level we've seen him at that international quality, I don't feel, in his game so far this season.
So a Giants penalty. The crowd not that big tonight, but certainly making plenty of noise.
Need more cowbell, I think, Bill. Not enough cowbell in that.
On the 40-metre line in the Catalan half. The Huddersfield Giants looking for better this set of 6. Ikehihifo. Really dependable character in this Huddersfield side, as is Ryan Hinchcliffe. Hardly ever misses a game. In fact, he's only missed 3 since 2016. Brough, little kick from Brough. Tierney, Gigot, will be a goal line dropout, or with it, will it? The Giants fans, again, not impressed.
Well, Danny Brough claims that he was taken out, wasn't he? I'm not sure whether it's him or Aaron Murphy who's obstructed the most. We get another look on it here now. The referee's untouches his dome. I just think he stands his ground, Greg Bird. He doesn't have to move out of the way. He doesn't seem to change course. He seems stationary to me on that angle.
Very, very canny operator, Greg Bird. Over 300 career games in his career, 34 years of age, up against a similar season campaigner in Danny Brough. They know what it's all about.
Steve McNamara will be watching this next defensive set with great interest.
What a great kick from Gigot.
And it's just been made 20 metres better, hasn't it, because of that kick there. But he'll be watching this with interest to see how his side respond now when put under pressure. It's where they've been particularly weak in terms of the discipline in 2018. They've improved recently in recent weeks. This is an acid test.
Well, here is Paul Clough. Twice a Challenge Cup winner in his St Helens days, Clough. Rankin, nice ball from Rankin, but again, good defence. And the referee says there were 2 knock-ons there. The first one was by the Giants.
Well, both teams seem to have attacked better than they've defended in the first 15 minutes. Sorry, they've defended better than they've attacked, I should say. Look, there's no way through that hole.
Like I said to you before, Danny, I spoke to you out wide.
Catalan player down, and it's Greg Bird, who's generally in the wars, Greg Bird, generally because he puts himself in harm's way, doesn't he?
Well, if you play like he does, which is 100 miles an hour, he's been opened up here. He's just caught David Mead, who's coming through as well with a committed piece of defence of his own. But if we know Greg Bird from the last couple of years in Super League, he'll be on his feet and carrying on, whinging, but he'll be on his feet and carrying on in a couple of minutes' time.
Claret is flowing.
Well, it might not be quite that soon.
He's also holding the hip. Was there a collision with that?
I saw a tackle earlier in the year when Greg Bird looked like he'd dislocated his hip. and was playing again the following week. He was absolutely amazing. Really, really durable athlete.
Well, you have to be durable to play 18 Origins.
You are right, though. He is going to have to get that seen to, isn't
For
he?
New South Wales. Origin, of course, coming up very soon. Game 1. And Greg Bird knows all about that, having played for New South Wales so many times. There you go, Wednesday, 10:30, Sky Sports Arena for Game 1 in the Origin series. Head and feed to the Catalan Dragons. Kenny Edwards is on.
And he's the man asked to feed that scrum, which he does. I suppose now they've lost a playmaker. Most of the subs for the Catalan Dragons are big, bruising forwards. Without Greg Bird, they've got less passing players. They'll be more direct and straightforward here now.
Well, they've had to make some serious adjustments. Lewis Tierney has gone to full-back. Gigo into the halves. David Mead onto the wing. And Julian... Benjamin Julian to the centre. Blimey, I'll carry on.
There is Kenny Edwards powering through his first couple of carries. That's his first carry in Super League. Keep an eye out for him with number 34 on his back.
He's had his troubles off the field, has Kenny Edwards.
Hold! Go!
But he could be a good mid-season recruit for this Catalan side. The ball is batted back, and it's with Jody Broughton. It ricochets off Cudjoe, and Willie Armour gathers.
That should be 6 more tackles, surely.
Cudjoe's played it back.
Yeah, the referee's looking to the touch list for some assistance. Do you know, it was a brilliant tap back by Willie Armour, wasn't it? Brilliant play.
Back! Hold!
Well, Broughton has possession. It's not doing an awful lot for the temper of the Huddersfield Giants supporters just down below us. A succession of calls that have gone against their side. Wrongly is their view. Ball is batted on. Broughton ducks him under the challenge of Cudjoe when it looked as though he was going to be manhandled into touch. Now then, Drinkwater puts a little kick in.
Well, Edwards is taken out, isn't he?
Somebody was taken out, and the referee has said no, it's a goal line dropout. Did look as though there was a shove on Kenny Edwards there.
The setup in attack from the Dragons is interesting. They're really using all the width of the pitch. Great depth, great width. The wings are hugging the touchlines, and that has a really detrimental effect on the Catalan Dragons' defence, putting relatively more space between defenders. Allows kicks like that to be executed a lot more cleanly. No feet that are going to disrupt the roll of that ball. The full-backs tied it up because there's more space between the defenders.
Ready?
Really interesting tactic.
So goal line dropout, which Brough hits up to the halfway line. Drinkwater, Sam Moa
First move, Ryan!
comes charging back for the Catalan Dragons, who have had the upper hand in the first quarter of this game so far. Just have the penalty to show for it. On the 20-metre line now. Just to the left of those Giants posts, and it's with Remy Casti. Casti onto Gigo. Gigo, the ball is batted down and picked up by Brough.
Well, that's the second time that exact same play. They've tried to pass the ball wide to the right. He's hit one of their own teammates, and again they've lost possession. Can't get the timing of that right. They've had so much possession, the vast majority of it, but they're going to have to start to use it better than that.
Well, the Giants similarly not clicking in midfield at the moment. The ball going backwards there, but salvaged by McGilvray. Here is Cudjoe now. But Cudjoe, there's a reception committee for him. Okay, we've seen Greg Bird go off. Let's catch up with news of him from Angela.
Yeah, you did see him go off with that smash in the head, and as you said, Bill, he never takes a backward step, but he'll be stationary for the next 15 minutes at least. He's getting that cutscene too, but also getting a concussion test. I'll bring back me more when we've got more results from that.
There's a Catalan player down. It's Jody Broughton this time. So, one or two Dragons in the wars. Greg Bird off the field. Tony Gigo's had a smack.
Ryan, we need to speed the ruck.
Not sure what that's about.
Last time I'm going to tell you. No. You need to be quicker.
Who's been in good form for the Catalan Dragons this season, their top try scorer. 11 all told, he's okay. Back on familiar territory, the wingman. A sultry evening here at the John Smith Stadium. And this will be hot, humid work for these two sides. Not that Catalan are unused to that.
Well, the Dragons will certainly be better suited by it. In fact, I think they play better when the mercury rises and the pitch is firm up. I think Huddersfield, they're standing tall in defence at the moment. Good run by Tierney.
This pitch certainly very firm. As McIlorum drills the kick downfield, it's a good one. And McIntosh just watches that one fine touch.
Another great example of just, you know, having the options and making the back three think you don't know where that kick's coming from. You know, in this instance, absolutely neutralised any kick return. The Dragons forwards can get some air into the lungs, reset, and look to contain the Giants again.
And I think he's getting longer on the game. If you think of the first half of the season, Steve McNamara, the Catalan coach, had two hookers, one on the subs bench, one on the pitch. But either Paul Ayton or Alex da Costa. Now he's gone with just the one hooker. He's got more time, more responsibility, and I think we're seeing more from McIlorum because of it.
Well, Paul Ayton, of course, having to hang his boots up. Sadly, that's two players, in fact, when you think about it. Luke Walsh having to retire early, Paul Ayton forced into retirement for the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah, you sit down at the start of the year and you look at your lineup and you think we're doing okay. We've got Luke Walsh, we've got Paul Ayton, and that's taken away from you. You know, Bill, the magnitude of the prize on offer here tonight probably wouldn't hit these players until the winner goes through to the semi-final. And if they win that, they may look back on this match and think, this is a game to get me within 18 minutes of Wembley. With a favourable draw, and you never know what sort of opposition you're going to face in that semi-final, how many players they will have absent, what way the cards will fall. This is a huge game. And two clubs struggling at the lower end of the Super League table might find themselves within, well, touching distance really of that big game and that big prize.
Rough hoists the kick. Tierney claims it well. He did well, did the wingman. He was heading towards the sideline. The ball coming over his shoulder.
That was a sensational catch, wasn't it? But the feature of Huddersfield, although they've not been great tonight, the length of the kicks that the Huddersfield Giants can give themselves keeps buying themselves a chance to get to the other end of the field, although they've not had many chances to attack there.
Having to work their way from deep inside their own half, but it's a good run from Kenny Edwards.
Well, he seems to break the first tackle. That's twice now, isn't it? He pops through as players tire. He's down injured. We'll say he might do it more often.
Well, Edwards in the wars early on. He's got Brough round his neck and throttling him.
Well, that's not a textbook pusher tackle, but it's the same mechanics. You're squashing the neck down, compressing the neck, forcing the chin into the chest.
Well, you'd imagine it'll be a penalty to the Catalan Dragons.
They may want to even have a look at that, I think.
Welcome to Super League, Kenny Edwards. Left Parramatta at the invitation of the club.
Well, that's one way of putting it, Bill.
And getting attention at the moment. This is the incident.
Well, they choked Kenny.
Well, Danny Brough had him around the neck. Well, Sevilla.
There's a question here of what action replays do they not, then what the referee and touch judges decide. If we don't see a replay, if the referee didn't see that live, then should it be on the basis of the big screen? Should it be a penalty afterwards? That's I suppose the debate that the sport needs to have at the highest level.
Edwards is on his feet. Gareth Ewer is standing watching proceedings. And in fact, Danny Brough is being sent to the sin bin, and Brough says welcome to Super League, Kenny Edwards.
All words to that effect. I'm no lip reader.
Nice to meet you.
Pressure on the neck.
And spends 10 minutes in the sin bin for that incident.
That's the decision.
I don't think he can argue, really. It's you can tell what he was trying to do. Put the opposition player in discomfort illegally in an effort to slow the ruck down, and it's backfired because now he's sided without him. Arguably the most influential Giants player. The most influential Giants player, you're right, John. And then Catalan Dragons now with a chance to capitalise. Numerical advantage.
Benjamin Julien in possession then for the Dragons. We're about 20 metres or so out. Busquets is off the bench for Catalan to lend his aggression to proceedings. McAlorum, Drinkwater. Here is Benjamin Garcia. For the Giants to make the tackle on Garcia, just 2 or 3 metres away from that Huddersfield try line. Then Huddersfield right on their own try line. Drinkwater, Casti, short ball from Casti, finds Busquets, Busquets finds Mamo, and again Catalan can't get it right in the middle of the field.
Just one pass too many. Busquets had hit the right line and probably even got a call from over his shoulder, but he's got to be smarter than that. He needs to look where he's passing. Yeah, he's taking his eye. Casti and Gigo in support, but Jake Mamo's done well actually to get in between players.
Back when we hold.
So Frost.
Well, Bill, I was just going to say the Catalan Dragons against Leeds had plenty of success offloading the ball, throwing it around a bit, but they did it after they scattered the Leeds Rhinos defensive line. Had them at 6th and 7th and then offloaded the ball. They're doing it again to set defensive line here as we see a penalty for interference given by Garrett here to the Huddersfield Giants. That will be relieving Michael McAlorum, the offender. But I feel for the Catalan Dragons, they need to drive into the Huddersfield Giants line, skittle players, then start to offload the ball and get a bit looser with their play.
Instead they conceded the penalty, and that allows them to clear their lines, and Rankin pushes it into Catalan territory. Just 2 points on the board, 24 minutes on the clock. That's a penalty for Catalan Dragons from Josh Drinkwater. Neither side yet to really threaten the opposition try line.
No, we've seen very little in attack. Jordan Turner should surely get his hands on the ball in this set. At some point, he's going to come back to the right. He's got 8 players this side of the field with him.
Rankin finds Turner. Turner try scorer against Salford last time out. When will we see Cruz leaning on the field? Rankin's pass finds Mellor.
Well, you'd think they'd sacrifice a middleman at this point to get a bit more creativity on there. Also would like to see Rankin at second receiver, not this way round. Rankin to Turner.
There's a little bit of a disagreement in back play as play continues. Williame and Cudjoe just having a discussion. Play, meanwhile, on the other side of the field. Murphy plays the ball. Rankin hoists the kick, but Broughton had time and space.
Well, it's not a great kick, is it? It's not a great kick. You see some push and shove here now between Braden Williame and Leroy Cudjoe. Nothing thrown over there. The play goes on. But again, the Giants' defence now very strong. English and Hinchcliffe just picked up and threw Broughton to the ground.
Yeah, a bit of spice in this game. Not many points. Not many points, but lots of spice.
It's a sudden death game of rugby league. It should mean a lot, and it does with the defensive effort. We're just not seeing that class or quality yet with attack.
Here's Anthony Maria. He knows about sudden death games. He was in the Lee Centurion side that played Catalan in the £1 million game last season. McAlorum complaining about a high tackle on Kenny Edwards there. Edwards maybe getting a bit of a reception here. Drinkwater.
Back Ryan, hold, go. 4.
Catalan.
Oh,
again.
They're desperate, aren't they, to find their players. And with Bruff absent on that side of the field, it does make sense to pass the ball that way. But for the third time, they can't find their own teammate and are in danger of finding an interception. Darnell McIntosh throws it at the left hand. So the Giants will have to defend another set, but they'll do it probably with a fresh body on the field.
And they're desperate to get Cruz leaning on the field. Phil, you're absolutely right. We've got a glimpse of him there on the sideline with the interchange card. very good when he came on the field against Salford.
Gotta wait to get to you.
Probably the standout player for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well,
With Danny Brough off the field, you
Well,
get
this is it.
Yeah, get him on the field, John, and look for the impact from Cruz Leamy.
Got to take advantage, Brian. While they've got the numerical advantage, and this is it. You've got to sacrifice a middleman. Your middle defenders will be doing proportionally less work for the next 7 or 8 minutes. Get the creative player on.
The Giants must believe, John, that Cruz Leamy can't play 80 minutes and maybe can't play 50 minutes, so they want to bring him on at the right time to have the impact. Perhaps he did catch the eye so much at Salford because he played for a shorter burst.
Yeah, but you've got to prepare to amend those plans and change those plans when you get handed an opportunity.
Well, they've got one man less, so I don't see how it's an opportunity
because they've got their most creative player off the field. The Dragons are down 2 men in terms of the interchange, aren't they, with Greg Bird off the field.
Well, all sorts of stoppages going on. Jake Mamo is down, getting treatment. It's like a knee problem for him. Greg Bird is patched up and ready to come back on by the look of things. And Danny Brough is off the field in the sin bin. 26 minutes on the clock. And Jake Mamo is still down. Interesting, Jake Mamo playing in the centres, Jordan Rankin at full-back. When Mamo arrived and scored all those tries at the start of his career, 12 tries in 9 appearances, that's how he's got injured, we think. It was at full-back that he made his mark.
Yeah, he was very influential at full-back, very quick. We just saw his knee cut underneath there. Probably a weight of bodies, but he's going to be taken off for further assessments as Greg Bird comes back on after passing, obviously, his head injury assessment. We'll see Oliver Roberts prepared to take the field for the Huddersfield Giants. Roberts, so good in the World Cup for Ireland.
Oh, what a World Cup he had, and I think it's really kicked him on to another level. I think he's a dangerous attacking threat. Usually plays on the left-hand side of the field for them. He's got those fast feet when they get near the opponent's line that puts him in a hole and hopes to get over and through the line.
So Kenny Edwards will feed this scrum for the Catalan Dragons. Greg Bird is back on. Jake Mamo's off the field. And Catalan Dragons
Hold, wait.
once again deep in Huddersfield Giants territory, but as yet haven't been able to stick a series of passes together to really examine this Catalan defence. Can they do so now? It's Drinkwater. No, he keeps possession and is then upended by the Giants defenders just about 5 metres away from that line. McIlorum, great work from Cudjoe to stop him in his tracks. Louis Anderson, Julien Bousquet straightens it up. That's the 5th tackle. Good defence this from Huddersfield. They run it, Drinkwater takes it on. That's the wrong option, and that's a disappointing conclusion for Catalan.
Yeah, wrong option, poor option to go the left. Drinkwater's voice was the clearest, but you had Greg Bird and Tony Gigo have been planning and plotting on that right edge for 2 or 3 plays. Just a couple of plays wasted there, and once again, they've showed the limitations in attack, haven't they? And Brian made a really salient point earlier that their successes last week against the Rhinos came through hard-nosed yards through the middle. Garcia and Casti and Bousquet when he came on, and we haven't had that same sort of penetration, which makes the decision-making a lot more difficult on the edges.
There's Oliver Roberts, first touch for him, former Bradford recruit, like a number of the youngsters in this Huddersfield side. Great potential. He's 22 years of age. Ollie Roberts, here he is now. Just on the 40-metre line in the Huddersfield's half. And Turner drills the ball downfield. It's a good kick over the head of Braden Williame.
Well, he's there filled in, hasn't he, on the left wing with Broughton off the field, which is though having to make all sorts of musical movements around here. Now everyone rotating around the field, and Brian made a good point earlier as well about the fact that, you know, the Catalan side, the defence has improved as well in weeks. Okay, they've not been able to make the breaks or really entertain as much with their attack, but the defence is still strong.
Well, they'll miss Jody Broughton off the field injured. He's had 2 hat-tricks to his name already this season. Here is Anthony Maria.
Ball moves! Back, Ryan, back.
4 tackles gone, just inside their own half. Gigot takes it on himself.
Move, Ryan.
Roberts and Hinchcliffe with the tackle. Hinchcliffe, the Giants' top tackler last year, the 3rd highest tackler in Super League, and probably on course for a similar performance this season. Rankin claims that ball. Benjamin Julian then wraps the fullback up. McIntosh has lost that ball. It's gone backwards, and it's still loose. And eventually it's Hinchcliffe who gets there. That could have gone horribly wrong for Huddersfield. They're now back just a couple of metres away from their own try
That's
line.
usually an indication of when a team can't go forward, somebody will try an offload or a pass that's not on, and it's a respect really to the Catalans' defence, maximum respect here, because they can't gain ground.
McGilvray can't make much progress. Leeming. Daniel Smith now. Smith at least takes him over the 20.
What's the one-on-one steal?
And the ball, he's flung into touch. It was Kenny Edwards who stole it. And then trying to find Willie Army, just found the sideline. Hang on a minute.
And that's play on. There's nothing wrong with that. The ball hadn't hit the ground, but that's a very ambitious play on a 0 tackle to attempt to find your teammate. I think Willie Army's set off to go backwards to the defensive line.
Surely Josh Drinkwater is involved in the tackle there, initially.
Well, that's obviously just been missed, hasn't it, by Gareth Hewitt, but
Wait, Jordan.
I was under the impression that if a tackler had come off, despite there being 2, once it goes back to 1 player, that was fair game again. But
Yeah. We need you in.
Well, anyway, the opportunity was squandered because Kenny Edwards got the ball and then
Mickey, head in.
put it straight into touch.
I tell you, regardless of the misfiring attack from the Dragons, I think Steve McNamara with a happier coach in the opening half an hour of the game. They've had an awful lot to contend with, haven't they? Injuries, movements and rearrangements in the team. They've kept the Huddersfield Giants, the home team, scoreless, and they've made them change their game plan as well. As Phil was saying, those offloads inside your own 20, there's something you feel as an attacking player. When things aren't going your way, you feel that's necessary to get your side going.
Daniel Smith almost broke the line there. Busquet with the tackle. Huddersfield, 4 tackles gone, just inside the Catalan half is Sebastien Ikehihifo. And he takes some stopping. That's better from the Giants. Turner drills that kick, and it's going to bounce all the way out of play.
Again, like the kick from Jordan Rankin, it's a poor kick really at this level by that standard. Well, this is one of those games that's going to demand some patience. We see usually about 10 tries in a rugby league game. This, I don't think we're going to see that tonight. But I've no doubt it's going to build very, very slowly and patiently here now. With a very tight game in the first 30 minutes here. We don't expect it to blow out.
Surrender!
Well, Danny Brough is out of the sin bin, and they have managed to go through that 10 minutes without shipping any points. So it might not have been particularly pretty, but it's been effective.
No, like I said, I think it's more to do with the Dragons, and they haven't found a rhythm yet in this game, or found a formula to break open this Giants defence than it is of any Giants defender stepping up, and they've done the bare minimum, to be honest.
Well, here is Greg Bird throwing himself into the challenge once again. Brough there among the tacklers. Casti, Aaron Murphy low down with the tackle. Cruz Leeming assists. Drinkwater, Gigot, Anthony Maria then weaving, straightening up, gets the offload away to Garcia. Here's Busquet again. Busquet's ball finds Gigot. Gigot puts the brakes on, pirouettes and runs back into Ikehihifo. And somehow gets the pass away.
Well, they're going to give it to him back. He's already called hell. The Huddersfield fans can't believe it.
Drinkwater, kick to the corner, up in the air. Oh, and it's dropped by Darrell McIntosh. It's gone backwards, miraculously.
At any point did the ball hit a Catalan player, or was it all completely juggled here by Huddersfield? It was a great kick because it invited the winger into no man's land, and now we see Cruz Leeming do what he does well, pick up and take the team forward. Here's the ball bouncing forward.
Oh,
I think it did hit Benjamin Julian.
Missed, move on, I guess.
Well, it's certainly be one that they'll be revisiting, isn't it? So many times you see that with a team, they get a little bit of success. They need to go and exploit that again, and exploit it quickly.
Here's Maddie English now.
10 meters. Go.
40 metres line in the Catalan half as Brough hoists that kick, and that's a wicked one as well. Bouncing on this very dry, firm surface. Rankin goes for it. He's missed it. They could counter here with Tierney. Tierney faced by McGilvray. Here is Williame.
Well, I thought for a second then Tierney was going to take McGilvray on the outside. That would have been a foot race I would have liked to have seen as well.
He should have done something. He should have probed or challenged McGilvray on the inside shoulder. He's got some pace, and I think he had an opportunity. If I was Jermaine McGilvray defending in that situation, I would not want him running at my inside shoulder. I'd be glad if he did what he did.
Kenny Edwards flings that ball out, could have gone anywhere, and it's Gigo who gets a hold of it. Maria on to David Mead. Mead's pass puts Tierney under pressure. Takes the tackle. Mead. Here is Greg Bird. Little shimmy from Bird, who's lost that ball and gets the penalty. Stolen. And there's something said by Huddersfield will cost him another 10 metres.
Well, I think there's a bit of gamesmanship in there. Bird has just let go of this. Danny Brough has gone to lock the ball up, and Greg Bird has asked for and received.
That is so hard for a referee to call. I agree with you, John, but it's so hard for a referee. But what I will say, we're on the 35-minute mark here, and Huddersfield haven't had much go their way. The marginal calls, the ones that are, shall we say, 50-50, have gone the way of the Catalan Dragons. They've had Danny Brough and a sim-in, and they just trail by 2. I'm not sure what's around the corner here, but so far, so good for a Huddersfield Giants that aren't having much luck.
Well, just at the moment, they've got some defending to do, because once again, they're back on their own try line. Busquet held by Ikehihi Foe and Daniel Smith. Little dart by Bird. Beg your pardon, it's Garcia. Then the ball with Drinkwater, little step from him, but good tackle from Alex Mellor. Down low. Garcia, short pass, finds Anthony Maria. They're going for the bulldozer approach of the Catalan Dragons, and Maria is held up. And that's the 5th. Maria will take it back to the 10. And they go for the power play. The ball is batted down. Cudjoe will drop on it, and Catalan will get it back. Head and feed. Just a mountain of defending for the Huddersfield Giants to do. Let's get a quick word from the sidelines from Angela.
Jake Mamo doesn't look like he's going to come back on. He's on the sideline now, changed. He's had a problem with his knee, but it's not strapped up, so I'll get to the bottom of what that is, but it's not playing again by the looks of it.
Meanwhile, head and feed to the Catalan Dragons after another bit of desperate defending from the Huddersfield Giants, but it's keeping their line intact. Still just that penalty goal for Josh Drinkwater. Half-time analysis coming up. All the action from the first half. Greg Bird, can the Catalan Dragons break the duck? Mead reversing in the face of Brough's challenge, weaving.
I'd love to see the Dragons draw one in here and then have a look at hitting the players out the back.
Oh, Casti! What a run from Remy Casti!
Guys, have we seen him play better recently? He's outstanding.
He made the dream team in 2012.
Well, is this 2 more points? I think that's what Remy Casti wants. He knows how hard Huddersfield have been to break down it. The kicking tee's already on its way. And they're looking like we're going to have 2 great penalty goals to talk about at half-time. Do you know what's interesting about this pitch? They've actually made it a couple of metres wider than it used to be. I mean, primarily because of a football regulation, it's become a bit wider. And yet you wouldn't believe that with how well Huddersfield have defended their own try line illegally, though, on this play.
But going back to Remy Casti, yes. This is reminiscent of his form when he made the dream team.
Bill, I haven't seen him play better. And when they need it most, in a season when they are really desperate for it, £1 million game in 2017, and not appearing at the start of this year to be a whole lot better than last season, Remy Castille has been a shining light and he's been a beacon. If I was playing in that side, I would be endeavouring to try and raise the standards of my game to what Remy Castille is delivering.
Well, I think, in fairness to players like Benjamin Garcia, Benjamin Julian, who's rejoined them, and in particular, Mikel Simon, the prop, who's one with real intent this year, looking to try and match the exploits of Castille.
Drinkwater then, 2 more points in the final minute of this first half, and the Catalan Dragons lead by 4 points to 0. Steve McNamara's side ahead in this Ladbrokes Challenge Cup quarter-final, but they haven't managed to break through this Huddersfield defence, and that's a big tick for this Giant side.
Well, it may well be, Bill, but 4 points is enough to take you, a 4-point winning margin is enough to take you through to a semi-final. They're in a winning position, and that's what Steve McNamara will be telling his men at half-time.
You'd almost ask them, both teams, both sets of players, to just step back a bit. Just don't play so close to the line. Get your passes a little more accurate, and then build from that. They're trying to push passes that they're not seem capable of passing or catching at the moment. They just got to take a step back, withdraw a little, Bill.
Clock counting down, and then at the end of this first half, and the hooter sounding with Catalan in possession with their new recruit, Kenny Edwards. An interesting introduction to the British game for Kenny Edwards, who's the victim of a dubious tackle early on in this game, which cost Danny Brough 10 minutes in the sin bin. One of a number of difficult events for referee Gareth Hewer to keep a hold of. Spicy game at times. Defences on top for both sides. Blood spilt in the cause. The points for Catalan so far.
Success isn't earned these days, it's bought. So to make our app top of the league, we threw a shed load of cash at our IT team. This boffin fulfilled a boyhood ambition of quadrupling his salary when he left his old IT team for ours. Adored and idolised, everybody wants a piece of these guys. Some call them mercenaries. We call them visionaries. Cash really does bring success. Download Paddy Power's fastest and simplest ever app.
Welcome, everybody. What a lovely day. Full of wonderful memories. So nice to see people happy. No one absolutely furious.
Not now, Terry.
Nope, sorry, Susan. This man is a liar. He said purple bricks were just online. Well, they're not, Gareth. They are proper estate agents, real people, but with no commission.
Save yourself from commisery at purplebricks.co.uk.
For monstrously great value, switch to Sky's totally unlimited broadband for just £18 a month for 18 months, including line rental. Plus, switching is easy with Sky's dedicated Switch Squad, as they speak to your current provider for you. So for great value, get Sky Broadband Unlimited for just £18 a month, and that includes line rental for new and existing Sky TV customers. Search Sky Broadband. Sky. Believe in better.
This year, Gopi has built her own business with her own 2 hands. Each unique piece comes to life in the same way. A messy, sloppy, splattery way. But at least with QuickBooks, she's found a way to keep her receipts tidy. Snap, sort and store tax-deductible receipts on the go with QuickBooks. Smarter business tools for the world's hardest workers. Now with up to 50% off your first 6 months. QuickBooks, backing you.
If football's the game of 2 halves, then the Isuzu D-Max is the truck of 2 sides. It pulls up to 3.5 tons. Then inside, it's all calm, relaxed, nothing to see here, ref. Out on the field, it makes it look easy. Tough tackles, hard knocks, never back down. And sublime selectable 4x4 control puts the Isuzu D-Max in a league of its own. To see the new Isuzu D-Max Driving Derby Challenges, press the red button now.
Bounce back in South Africa, live on Sky Sports.
for something to do this month? Well, Sky Cinema has a brand new premiere every day of the week. So if you're not jet-setting to sunnier climates or you don't intend on entertaining company...
Can I help you?
Get your kicks with Sky Cinema this June.
I suddenly feel a great deal better.
A brand new premiere every day of the week, only on Sky Cinema.
It's a new era in New South Wales. New coaching staff, a record 11 debutants. But will it be the same old story as they take on Queensland in the 2018 State of Origin? The Queenslanders have won 11 of the last 12. See, will times change? It starts on Wednesday, Sky Sports Arena and main event. Game 2 is June 24th. Sky Sports Arena again for that one, and it will conclude on Wednesday, July 11th. New South Wales, Queensland, Sky Sports Arena. Note the day for Game 2. It is a Sunday, June 24. The other two Wednesday matches. And it's a Thursday match here in the quarterfinals of the 2018 Challenge Cup. We're at the John Smith Stadium in Huddersfield, and the home side trail 4 points to nil against the Catalan Dragons, who have 2 Josh Drinkwater penalties to their name so far. The first of those coming in the 5th minute, John Wells, after Adam O'Brien infringed.
Yeah, he was. He looked like the major threat from the Dragons throughout the first half was from the boot, and from the boot predominantly of Drinkwater. Adam O'Brien pulling Drinkwater down, and he was able to convert on the 6th minute. 2 points to the Dragons. They got the scoreboard going, but nothing really much happened after that. The closest I think the Dragons got was directly from the scrum. Darnell McIntosh, a great weaving break, and it took a try-saving tackle, in my opinion, from Lewis Tierney to pull them down.
22 minutes in, Greg Bird is off with a head injury. Kenny Edwards is on, and Danny Brough soon leaves the field filled with a sin binning.
Well, there's no argument with that, is that with the decision in the end, although it was reached via probably video replay, it's tackled him illegally. It's a yellow card, and Brough leaves the field. Kenny Edwards then involved in the next incident where the Dragons had actually a chance on the left-hand side of the field. He's a one-on-one strip, and then he looks to find his teammate in space. That's a little bit speculative and doesn't come off. From that point on, then they're still spending time at this end of the field, and Remy Casti is held out for too long. Another penalty. And unlike the Giants, the Dragons are electing to kick theirs. They're going for 2 more points, which they do through the boot of Josh Drinkwater.
Guys, we saw Catalan Dragons in victory over the Leeds Rhinos last week, the champions. We saw the Huddersfield Giants at Magic Weekend. These sides, I mean, looking at the stats, Phil, what is standing out for us? We've got an 83% completion rate for the Catalan Dragons, 75%.
The possession, really, for me, and the fact that they've got 3. The Catalan Dragons have received 3 more penalties, which gives them a bit more of the ball about it. Whether that possession swings around, you never usually see a 60-40 split at the end of a game. If it shifts, I'm with you. I think the Giants are looking good.
I'm not sure the stats are going to tell us the tale of that first half. As I said, we're seeing 2 sides that are unlike the improved sides we saw in recent weeks. I'll take you back to Magic Weekend and the Huddersfield Giants' performance against Wakefield, particularly in attack. Very slick in everything they did. That is absolutely absent tonight. And the Catalan Dragons, different style of attacking against Leeds, again, haven't brought that here today, John.
No, they haven't, but if you look at the bare statistics, in my opinion, the possession stat at 61%, you're going on for 2/3 of the football and completing at 83%. It doesn't really matter what you're doing with the ball there. That level of possession and the high completion rate is going to mean more and more pressure on Huddersfield.
Just 5 tackles missed for each side. I wonder, is it great defence or is it weak attack?
I think there's been some outstanding defence, particularly from the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, the Huddersfield Giants fans have not been happy with the calls that have gone against them. No great surprise there, but you'd look at replay on a few of them and they may have a case to answer. Will they be in the semi-finals in the doubleheader at the Macron Stadium in Bolton? That is the prize on offer. It's 4-0 at half-time to Catalan Dragons. Second 40 minutes for this quarter-final on the way the other side of this break. Bill standing by.
When you have the right technologies, you will always find a way. The award-winning Micra, the tech-advanced small car by Nissan. The Nissan Micra Ascenta is now available from £149 per month at 0% APR representative. Search Nissan Micra or visit your local dealer to find out more.
With the best odds on the Premier League, you get more with Betfair. More edge-of-the-seat action. More drama. More control. And more last-minute winners. Get more from Betfair. Last season, Betfair were best odds on the Premier League. Are you ready for more?
Did you get into my makeup? Yeah. Just a little bit?
Oof.
Show me.
Imagine if that was our Daisy.
You know what? She is a bit quiet.
Alexa, show me the kids' room camera. Oh, look at her, isn't she cute?
Oh, great. You can have her tomorrow then.
All right, I'll take her to the cup final with the lads.
Good luck with that.
Be fine.
You reckon?
Yeah.
The Dreams Up to Half Price Summer Savers event is now on, and this week there's extra offers until Tuesday. That's what dreams are made of.
It pays to be a safer driver.
I think that's why we are still together, because of my smooth driving.
Speed limit is a guide, not a target.
Using our free Aviva Drive app to measure how you drive, safer drivers scoring more than 7 out of 10 could save an average of £170 on our car insurance. Visit aviva.co.uk to see if you could save.
In Compton, you join a gang, or you find another way to survive. My horse was headed to the slaughterhouse when I got her. I think maybe, did I save the horse, or did the horse save me?
Guinness. Some are made of more.
I get to break out into the world, the real world. Live rather than just survive.
Patrick? What is it?
Patrick! Come up to my room, now!
Patrick?
Patrick Melrose. Acclaimed new drama on Sky Atlantic. A new episode is available every Sunday. The most feared tournament in golf. The US Open. Live on Sky Sports.
There's more Challenge Cup quarter-final action to come tomorrow when the Leeds Rhinos take on the Leeds Centurions. 7:30 Sky Sports Arena. That one live from Featherstone with Emerald Headingley not available to the Rhinos at the moment, and that could be some game. I remember a meeting between those two sides in the Challenge Cup a few years ago. Quite feisty it was. It's been quite feisty here between the Huddersfield Giants and the Catalan Dragons, and Catalan lead by 4 points to nil. Those two Josh Drinkwater penalty goals, all that separates the two sides. Not a try-scoring opportunity to be seen anywhere so far in this game. Bit of spite, one sin-binning, but there could be more points to come once the dam bursts, if a dam bursts. Both sides defending stoutly, and neither attack really firing on all cylinders. Can they get into gear in this second half? First touch of the second half goes to the Catalan Dragons with Julien Bousquet, and room for improvement. Here's Kenny Edwards, this new recruit for the Catalan Dragons, signed from Parramatta. potentially a really good mid-season signing for them. Anthony Maria. And now here is Greg Bird in the wars in the first half, and David Mead. So just 2 penalty goals separating these two sides, a place in the semi-finals at stake. Remy Casti, as Catalans just get across the halfway line. And the ball with Drinkwater, who hoists that kick. Rankin comes for it. Maria chasing, and Maria just mistimed that and looks to the heavens.
Well, this is the opposite of what the Giants did to start the game, where you remember they ran to the halfway line, kicked it into the corner and conceded a penalty. He made contact, I think,
what was the penalty
before the ball had come down. I'm guessing that's an
here.
early tackle.
Yeah.
The opposite of a late one.
It wasn't quite a Missy Talapapa arriving early on the scene.
Tell you what.
It's a penalty. And the Giants will tap the ball on the Catalan 40-metre line. Here is Ikehihifo now for Huddersfield. Oh, he's upended, and the crowd didn't like that. Seb Ikehihifo just shrugs off the challenge and gets on with the game.
Hold on to you, wet.
Jordan Turner plays the ball. And here's Daniel Smith now. Louis Anderson down low to stop his progress. Cruz Leeming set up a couple of tries against Salford. Ikehihifo spinning, but Remy Casti keeps a hold of him. Benjamin Julien, Greg Bird helping out as well. Leeming, little change of direction from him, and Leeming has opened up the Catalan defence, but couldn't exploit it. But they've got the opportunity here now. Cudjoe going himself and can't get that ball down, or can he? He's scrambling. The referee's looking and not convinced. How many movements were there as Cudjoe tried to get that ball down?
If Cruz Leeming found his right foot, there was a try there. Off his left, space opened up, went off his left again.
There's already a try.
You think he's got it?
Well, the referee on the pitch has just indicated it's a try.
Well, what a way to mark your comeback. Leroy Cudjoe, first appearance of the season.
Well, it's no doubt it's down to this man, the creative play of Leeming. You'd think he was going to go there, then get the right foot down, as Brian was saying. Almost felt as if he'd taken one too many steps.
Yeah, it's obstruction at that point. Is Louis Anderson impeded from getting to Cruz Leeming?
No.
That's what they were looking at, though, isn't it? The man with the arms in the air.
Look at what it has done to this left edge for this Catalan Dragons defence. That's all down to Cruz Leeming. And the space that Cudjoe has is down to the work from the substitute hooker.
It looks short from there, doesn't it? And he was held with the people in contact.
How many double movements there?
Now, are any of the Giants holding on to him as he hits the floor?
You don't need to hold on, Phil. Your hand just needs to be on him when his hand
is there anybody in contact there?
Yes, there is. Here's Kenny.
You've disallowed it, Brian. What will the video referee do?
Robert Hicks, the video ref, getting a good look at this.
Definitely a double movement, that, Bill.
Well,
there's enough there for me for him to disallow that.
Robert Hicks, video ref. Gareth Ewer, and the try is awarded. Something has gone right for the Huddersfield Giants tonight. And Leroy Cudjoe out for so long with this knee injury, making his first appearance since September the 1st last year, gets his first try of the season, his first try since last August.
Well, we'll take issue with the grounding and the decision in a minute, but first of all, let's sit back and have a look at the great build-up work. Excellent stuff from Cruz Leeming, which created the spaces here for Cudjoe. As you said, a long layoff with a knee injury, but I think on the actual mechanics of the grounding of the ball, there is no doubt in my mind there was enough evidence there for the video referee to disallow this. There is more than a hint of a double movement in that. At that point, he's tackled for me. The ball was down with men on top of him, the momentum was stopped.
No, surely his right arm, where the ball is, his right shoulder is up in the air, and then he flips over. Conversion, meanwhile, from Brough on target. points of the game for Huddersfield.
Well, the referee and the touch just thought it was a try on the field, and so did the video referee. That's a very important score for Huddersfield, and a brilliant kick from Danny Brough. His goal kicking really has gone up another level this season.
He's grounded there. He's grounded there, and then he makes another movement for the try line. Double movement.
John, you're absolutely right. There only needs. He actually doesn't have to be held. The wording is he can have a hand on him as well. When the ball-carrying arm is on the ground, if there's a hand placed on him by an opposition player, that tackle is completed.
Well, Huddersfield now lead by 6 points to 4.
Well, Brian made a good point in the first half, talking about the 50-50 decisions went in favour of the Catalan Dragons. I think you'd have to say then, Brian, yourself, that there's a 50-50 or even a 60-40 that has helped the Giants to take the lead.
The ball is batted back. Louis Anderson picks it up. First knock on, says the referee. Who was that by? And I think it's going to be Catalan head and feed at this scrum. Ikehihi foe, just grimaces.
Yeah, that'll be classified as a loose carry and a knock-on.
Great work by Garcia. The position of the tackle dislodged the ball.
Let's get a quick burst of half-time news from Angela.
Well, that start was exactly what the new coach Simon Wolford wanted from the Huddersfield Giants. He said in the first half they defended really well, looked really comfortable, but then they let the Dragons off the hook a bit in their own half, turned the ball over with a couple of poor last play options. Danny Brough didn't help, but he thought the effort was fantastic. To get the ball down there, and he said we can confident we can get some points, which they just did. They proved that. Steve McNamara says though, stay in the fight with Catalan Dragons. It ain't pretty. It's a battle out there, a typical cup game. Discipline for them is the key. Just stay in the fight.
Well, they're very much in the fight. They trail now, though, by 6 points to 4. They are in possession with Anthony Maria, driving it into the heart of that Huddersfield defence, and they stand firm. De Cruz Leeming and Oliver Roberts to make the tackle. Garcia looks to his right, goes to his left, finds Busquets. Busquets again, edging towards those posts.
Hold, wait.
Then turns and plays the ball. It could be an instant response, this, from the Catalan. That's good work from Roberts. Disrupting Garcia there. Drinkwater, but more good defence. Matty English.
Drinkwater needs a better out there on the back. He needs Gigo calling. Gigo needs to get himself in more space. Too many times he's been caught in possession.
Fifth tackle. Gigo it is, hoists the kick. It's not a bad one. Oh, the ball's batted down, and Mead has got that. The referee will ask for another video ref decision. That looked as though the Giants failed to deal with that kick. Gareth Hewer has a similar view of that. What's Robert Hicks's outcome?
It's a great kick, wasn't it? Look at where this comes down. It's going to cause all sorts of problems for the Huddersfield Giants. In the skill factor there, just to jink it over the top there. And then, I think, the referee thought it was a try. It's gone through Daniel McIntosh's hands. He didn't take one in the first half. He did get the referee's call going in his favour. Does it make any contact with the Catalan player, David Mead, and go forward as it comes backwards here? It's through his arms. Anything on the left arm? No. It's clear into the in-goal area, and I think he grounds it. They take the lead.
I'll tell you what, it's really smart play by David Mead as well, because he's almost abandoned the catch, and that's ended up being a cover foil really for McIntosh. It's really made him struggle to see the line of that ball.
And Gareth Hewer doesn't need any more invitation. Robert Hicks confirms. David Mead gets another try against the Giants. He got 2 on Easter Monday in the win against them. He's got 1 tonight to put Catalan back in front. 8 points to 6. His first Challenge Cup try of the season. His 7th all told.
Really smart play by the fullback who's filling in the centre. There's your fullback who's deputising, just abandoning. It's almost like the line's been run on purpose to disrupt the catcher's view, and that's perfectly legal. There's no contact made with the defender, and then he's lucky and first to the bounce.
Well, it's a conversion that we're going to look at here. The attempt from Josh Drinkwater. The Huddersfield supporters below us here think it's missed, but neither do the 2 men with the flags. And there are 2 more very important points for the French mob.
French mob. 10 points to 6. The French mob lead. And there's the head of the French mob.
Well, he knows this is going to be this is where I think we're going into the last minute or 2 here with this game still undecided. The defence of both teams, I think they're aware of what it would mean to their clubs here now to get back to Wembley in August, should they make it through this round and the semi-final. It's a really extra intensity and effort in the defence, but too much effort there from the Giants.
Another penalty.
Stolen.
Mellor with a ball steal in the view of the referee. Penalty to the Catalan Dragons. Golden point, extra time.
Well, speaking of golden point, if we don't get it in this game, Bill, you can get it on iTunes, because we recorded the podcast beforehand. So if you want to subscribe and listen to some rugby league chat, golden point is available on wherever you get your podcasts from.
Exactly. Any number of outlets. The ball is lost by Casti. It's gone backwards, says the referee. And Benjamin Julien on the burst. Needs to be a good tackle. Stop his progress. And Leeming. And that's a knock-on. Oh, it's a penalty, I beg your pardon.
Well, the
Leeming thought he'd got away with it.
It seemed to go on for a long time. I was amazed at some point they didn't blow the whistle here. 2, 3, 4 seconds there it's gone on. And then he has actually dropped the ball after he'd released him.
I'd imagine that they'll go for another 2 points. It's not been a game to settle the patience of the Huddersfield supporters down below us.
But I don't think there's much argument on this occasion. It's another easy shot at goal for Josh Drinkwater. This could take them a converted try in front. We know points have been at a premium this evening. The Catalan Dragons, I tell you, who's really impressed me this season. Benjamin Julien. He's not big in stature, not by any stretch compared to some of the rest of this Catalan Dragons pack, but he hits a great line and a consistently good line. I think using him as a foil on the right edge would be really to their benefit.
Drinkwater on target again, and Catalans' response is instant. Having gone 6-4 down, they now lead by 12 points to 6.
Well, his kicks have been close to the centre of the field. That's helped him, and they've now helped them with a 6-point advantage. But we've only seen 2 breaks in the game so far, according to our stats, and both made by the Huddersfield Giants. They've got some speed, they have some threat, and in the next half an hour, I think we're going to see some more attack from them.
You hope we will. It's 6 years since the Giants won a quarter-final, and then they really did run some points in. They beat the London Broncos 50 points to 14, and the Catalan Dragons have lost their last 4 quarter-finals. So a place in the semi-finals, big incentive for these two sides.
Backrooms, hold!
And might explain why it's quite a cagey contest, this.
I'd say that the first 3 tackles of this set are giving you a much better indication of the Dragons' game plan, though. This is very direct, in behind the ruck, make the meters first, then hit the edges. Much more effective than what we've seen in the first 40 minutes.
Is Louis Anderson, that's good defence. Cudjoe has looked really good on his return. Back to captain the side, Leroy Cudjoe. Anthony Maria bounces off English, but Mellor keeps a hold of him, makes the tackle. Drinkwater hoists the kick, and probably the worst one he's put in. It's then booted on, and Rankin gathers and then gets it away to Aaron Murphy. Murphy plying his trade in the pack these days in the second row. Here's Mellor. Benjamin Julien with that scrum cap.
The shape from the Huddersfield Giants in transition is really poor. There's no width to the players.
Yeah, all in the middle of the field, where they're maybe fanning out now as Roberts plays the ball. Bruff throws a long pass to Cudjoe. Cudjoe steps back in field. Kenny Edwards makes the tackle. There is Leroy Cudjoe. Try scorer on his return. Daniel Smith. Brought down by Bousquet and Benjamin Julien, who had an impressive stint with Warrington Wolves, of course, before returning to France. Bruff hoists the kick. Tierney is under pressure. He's lost that ball. It's batted back. Julien is there. He's offside. Beg your pardon.
So Huddersfield Giants are offside. Oh no, he's changed his hand, swinging it the other way. The referee, sorry, he made a mistake. Benjamin Julian, he's saying, the referee, that the ball's gone forward from a Catalan Dragon player. And Benjamin Julian was in an offside position. He was ahead of the ball when it made contact with one of his teammates. He couldn't pick it up. And we're going to see here now, it's taken us 50 minutes or so, some concerted pressure, some play the balls in the opposition 20 here for Huddersfield. Are they good enough to use them to put points on the board?
Yeah, great position to launch this attack for the Huddersfield Giants. And it's Matty English, the Huddersfield supporters urging their side on. Leeming, the architect of the first, well, the only Huddersfield try so far with the short ball. Mellor takes the pass. Here is Leeming once more. Daniel Smith batted on by Brough. Batted back to Rankin, but Mead hounds him down, and they're back on the 20-metre line, virtually where they started. Darnell McIntosh comes back in field. That's the fourth tackle. It's with Brough in the middle of the field. Brough changes direction. Daniel Smith gets the pass away to Cruz Leeming. Cruz Leeming spins, gives it to Rankin. Rankin's ball for Murphy. Murphy gets the pass away, picked up by Gigot, and another attack comes to nothing for the Huddersfield Giants.
Some really good defensive work on that right edge. A combination between Tierney, who's got the ball in his hands now, and David Mead. Some excellent two-repeat efforts, really, in defence that, first of all, closed down a really threatening Huddersfield attack, and then, secondly, ended up resulting in them getting back possession. Really smart stuff.
There's Kenny Edwards. Mellor with the tackle. McIlaurin. They might have had a point, the Huddersfield fans. Here is Mead. The 40-metre line. Now Greg Bird. Bird, nimble for such a chunky character, Greg Bird. Nimble's not the word you'd use for Julien Busquet. Busquet's offload, booted forward by Gigot, but that was an opportunity squandered by the Catalan Dragons.
Well, you can't always criticise them for trying to offload the ball, can you? You don't get any excitement on some of the best scores. If you don't take the risk and take your chance, you just got to now back that up there with some good defence.
Plenty of numbers there for Catalan as Huddersfield cross the halfway line with Alex Mellor. Leeming, Smith, Brough across the field. Rankin hit hard by Mead, but gets the pass away to Aaron Murphy.
Anthony 10, hold!
Aaron Murphy plays the ball about 40 metres out. Here's Sebastien Ikehihifo.
And again, tackle free. David Mead, he has shot the line and he's taken a bit of a risk, but you see what it's done to this Huddersfield attack. It's just really interrupted the momentum of that attacking set.
So Brough hoists the kick. Gigot claims it, and McIntosh follows up to make sure he can't go anywhere. Now here's Braden Williamy doing well, considering he's been to Australia and back in the last few days for that family funeral. That was a bit statuesque, and Kenny Edwards invited to try and make something out of that, so he's doing his best.
Move! Back Jordan, hold, wait!
McIlaurin looking a bit weary, Michael McIlaurin. It is very heavy conditions in terms of the atmosphere. The pitch, rock hard. And McIlaurin thumps a kick downfield, sits up nicely for Jordan Rankin.
I get the feeling in this arm wrestle that the Giants are doing okay in the last few minutes now. They've contained the Catalan Dragons, although they've lost the ball.
Stolen. The ball is not stolen. The ball is taken one-on-one by Remy Casti.
Back, Matt. 2 feet. Oh, 0.
And the referee saw nothing wrong with that. And now then, Catalan, can they capitalise? Here's Kenny Edwards trying to go outside. Mellor and Rankin make the tackle. Edwards slow to get to his feet. Just arrived last Friday in time for the Leeds game, Kenny Edwards. Here's Busquet now.
Move, Jordan! 10 metres, Danny!
Catalan leading by 12 points to 6.
10 metres.
Looking to extend that advantage. McIlaurin, and the referee will award another penalty. In fact, it's for offside.
Well, it's around the ruck area, though. The penalty's awarded back there, isn't it, around that point? So that's the reason why he stood back there. But they can bring the ball back here, and I'm sure they'll kick a goal, because an 8-point advantage in a game as tight as this, the sudden death cup nature, means that points are hard to come by.
Going for goal.
This was how they got the ball. It just came out Jordan Rankin. Remy Casti was first there. He shouldn't be on the field. Blood coming from that cut again. What do you reckon?
It's so hard to call. It's so hard to call it. Again, Sebek Ihifo concedes a penalty that Steve McNamara's side will attempt a kick at goal at. Just before the half-time whistle, Drinkwater kicks one over after Ike Ihifo transgressed. And now again, 56 minutes in, just to extend that lead, Bill.
Josh Drinkwater looking to make it 5 from 5. The cowbell doing its best to put him off, but it'll take more than that. Oh, they've got more than that. There's a trumpet and a drum. They ought to get their act together.
Well, I think they've tried the best, the Huddersfield supporters, to lift the team here. They're going to have to lift them a long way now here, because 2 scores looks a lot in this final quarter.
Need more cowbell, gents. More cowbell, please.
No more cowbell. The trumpet slacking.
Just need to be a little careful here now, the Huddersfield Giants, because the scoreline will just slip away from them past a converted try. They've got to make sure, I would say, that they're next on the board, Bill.
Well, it's Catalan in possession with Sam Moa.
Surrender!
Paul Clough with the tackle. They've got great service from Paul Clough since recruiting him from the Bulls, ever present this year.
Back hold, Cruz. Hold.
McAloran's pass for Bird. Bird, it's squirted out of his hand, and to the glee of the Huddersfield fans, Aaron Murphy picks it up.
0. Move!
Well, the number 9, Cruz leaving, the player who we expect to see something from an attack. It was him who was involved in the defence that has given his side possession. They've now received a penalty here, and they'll start to kick to a much better attacking position, but we've not seen any real combination. Their attacking plays haven't been executed with players running at full pace.
Suspect sweaty palms might have had something to do with that slip from Greg Bird. It's very close, very muggy. Thunderstorms predicted, maybe later tonight.
Sticky weather.
That's predictable, isn't it? It's predictable for the Giants' defence. McAloran knew that Clough was the man to get it.
This is sometimes why you got to look past statistics. 5 missed tackles in the first half for each. It's probably more down to poor attack than it is great defence.
Well, Rankin gets that ball back, and the referee says...
Is it accidental offside? Has it hit one of his own teammates? Well, it's frustrated the Huddersfield supporters, but I think the ball hits Aaron Murphy's left leg. He stood in front of him. It's unintentional, so it's a scrum down, not a penalty.
And once again, Jordan Rankin goes to plan B, and his attacking setup is frustrated because of the good work in defence done by David Mead. Really good read, pulling him under pressure. He didn't get the ball and close the man down, but he's frustrating and disrupting this Huddersfield attack.
The crowd claiming somebody doesn't know what they're doing. I'd argue Gareth Hewer, that time at least, did know what he was doing, and maybe it was Jordan Rankin and Aaron Murphy that didn't.
You've got to feel sorry for Gareth Hewer, because he's not a full-time referee, unlike his other colleagues. He does have a full-time job in the nuclear industry. He does this for the love of the game as much as anything. He's probably done a day's work to come and do this, and this is what he gets.
You can't just... What do you mean, nuclear industry? What does he do?
Can't tell you.
It's a top secret.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know, a very simple approach. You talk about statistics and the fact that the Catalan Dragons have made very few errors. I suppose they've thrown very few passes, taken very few risks, because consistently now, aren't they, just using their big men to get towards the halfway line and then kick into the corner.
Well, McAloran's kick is straight into the arms of Jordan Rankin, who returns it, does the fullback, making his 30th consecutive appearance. Now then, McGilvray, really haven't seen McGilvray light things up, and the ball has come out and Catalan have it back.
Well, Michael McAloran hit the back of Jermaine McGilvray. I think the ball squirted out. There were 4 men around him. He does take some stopping. This is a significant turnover in possession here.
Ball appeared somehow. Samoa not letting go of that one. And this is a big opportunity for this Catalan side. Here is Remy Casti. 10 metres or so out. just to the right of those posts.
Get the ball to Kenny Edwards. He looks likely to break a tackle.
Drinkwater, though, kicks over the top. The ball is batted out of play by McGilvray. Good work from the winger. Maybe haven't seen him in attack, but they needed him in defence there.
Knew he wasn't going to get there, knew the ball was going over him. No option to catch, so he does the next best thing. That's good defensive play, good awareness.
Great kick, wasn't it?
They got a set now to set up, I believe, to get the ball into the hands of the man who looks more likely to break tackles and put him with a bit of strike out wide, and that's Kenny Edwards in his first appearance for the club. It's going to be standing out on the left edge. Catalan Dragons need to set up and, I believe, get the ball into that man's hands without so much traffic around him in the middle and getting running out of centre and a half-back defending on an edge.
Well, instead, it's in the hands of Mikael Simon, and he looked as though he was going to run through a barn door there. But it's a good, solid barn door, and it's slammed in his face by the Huddersfield Giants.
You'd want some of those hinges on your front door, wouldn't you? Wow, they couldn't squeeze past it.
Samoa trying his luck. Holds firm again, does the Giants' defence. McAlorum. Now with Edwards. But they've lost a little bit of momentum as Castia, beg your pardon, plays the ball. Greg Bird, Drinkwater, quick hands, and there is Kenny Edwards, and there is Jermaine McGilvray. Not letting him go anywhere. Louis Anderson. Samoa now. Catalan will be happy with this, playing the game deep in Huddersfield territory on the last tackle, and Drinkwater dribbles a kick in. It's another good one. Rankin, Rankin collared by Edwards there, and the penalty is awarded. Wry smile from the new recruit. Yep.
Hold on, Danny. It's all there.
No, it's the step. He straightened up as Rankin to get on the outside, and it's just a lazy arm.
Well, your man's in the picture a lot, isn't he? We've seen a lot of him tonight, Brian, Kenny Edwards, but whether he can find that score, the Giants are still alive here, but you're just hoping somehow that one of the players can find a quicker play of the ball, because that's what Cruz Leeming and the Giants need right now.
Sharpen up. The attack from both sides has been dreadful tonight. It has been absolutely I'm going to say substandard, because they have improved in recent weeks, but it's not even. It hasn't been evident here tonight. You wouldn't look at these two and say, "I tell you what, they've been improving in Super League, and we expect a higher quality of game tonight." But the attack in particular has been way off.
There's been no fluency to it. Not only that, I think players have been really confused about which holes are supposed to be hitting, the timing of the runs, overplaying the front man. All the mistakes that you would make from being a side playing without confidence, which is ironic given how well they've been both going recently.
Daniel Smith looked very weary as he got to his feet there, and Paul Clough lost that ball as he went to ground, looks at the referee in bewilderment, but there's a hand in there.
There might be a hand in there, but I think that the man in possession needs to hold on to it a little bit better. They're not squeezing him that hard. Get towards the last 15 minutes here. They've got to make sure that they don't drop their heads. I know he's shaking it in disappointment, but there's still energy. There's still time for them to win the game. I don't know whether they've got the body language yet, though, here now. That sense of urgency here. We'll see it in the last 2 minutes if they need 4 points. You see teams pass the ball around, but 12 handling errors certainly not help them.
Catalan leading here by 14 points to 6. Let's get more news from the sidelines. Angela.
Well, Busquets is on the sideline. It's on the advertising hoarding at the moment with some ice strapped to his ankle. Not looking good for going on for him. But the other one is Jody Broughton, who came off as Bird went back on after his concussion test, went into down the tunnel and never came out again. The best I can get from their bench is he had a little bit of a twinge in his back, but no sign of him since.
Here's Louis Anderson then with 15 minutes to go. And Catalan heading for the semi-finals. They've won on each of their last 2 visits to Huddersfield, have the Catalan Dragons. So a happy hunting ground for them in Super League. Can it be a happy hunting ground for them in the Challenge Cup? Here is Benjamin Julien. They've certainly had the better of this second half of the Catalan Dragons, as Julien legs driving gets nearer that 20-metre line. On the last, Drinkwater again dinks the kick over the top. It's a good one as well, and they're going to get the ball back. And the kicking game, if nothing else, has been good for Catalan.
Nice reaction from Jordan Turner, you're right, Bill. Drinkwater asking question. Turner reacted very quickly. Rankin wouldn't have got there, McGilvery wouldn't have got there, and that's everybody's responsible. When a kick goes in behind, it's not just your winger and your fullbacks that need to respond. Your centres have got it and your halves have got it. Turner did that time.
The kicking game and nothing else, Bill, has been effective for the Dragons. Well, 4 penalty goals, and the Mead try came directly from a kick as well, didn't it?
And Josh Drinkwater's had a lot to do as Mikel Simon runs into Alex Mellor. They recruited Drinkwater from West Magpies. He'd gone back to Australia after his Lee Centurions experience. Here's Simon. Here is Greg Bird. Bird, Hinchcliffe. He, likewise, a very seasoned NRL campaigner, Ryan Hinchcliffe, like Greg Bird. And now, opportunity maybe for the Catalan Dragons with Benjamin Garcia. 4 tackles gone, this set of 6, right in front of those posts. McIlorum, Bird! And Bird has got the try that might seal this Challenge Cup quarter-final. And this time there's no doubt about that, there's no disputing that. And Michael McIlorum, there in the background of that shot, all smiles, has presented Greg Bird with what could be a crucial try.
No, it's a smart piece of play from Michael McIlorum in the build-up to this one. Good quick play, the ball was key as well. Greg Bird, trademark step. It's like a stutter step off the right foot, but he keeps his hips square, he's ready to go forward. And that, I agree, could be the crucial try now. There's just under 13 minutes left on the clock, but more important than that, all the energy, momentum and ideas seem to be with the Catalan Dragons, with very little happening on the other side of that football. The Huddersfield Giants, as I watch on, very little conversation going on underneath the sticks. Josh Drinkwater's he's taking a look at these boys and going, well, where's your chat? Where's the fight? Well, lots of people looking at the feet and looking at one another, back of one another's heads. And that's, for me, that looks like a beaten side, Bill.
Well, there's still time for them to salvage this.
Well,
Kick to come.
They need a ball, don't they? That's the first thing. The ball boys have just lost the concentration for the moment. They didn't hit getting one from him, but Greg Bird is probably a loose forward. He's a number 13, isn't he, traditionally? I think the reason why the Catalan Dragons have struggled a little bit with their attack is that they need a standoff out there in the team to play with them in some regard. It's a great try, an important one, wasn't it, there? He changed direction so close to the line.
Greg Bird's try could have taken Catalan Dragons through to these Challenge Cup semi-finals. The finalists in 2007, the Catalan Dragons, in the first cup final after Wembley's refurbishment. They came up against a very strong St Helens side and went down 30 points to 8. And they could be closer to a Wembley return as Drinkwater continues his 100% performance with the boot. And it was on the back of the goal line dropout that Greg Bird scored that try.
Well, that's it, they're building pressure. Drinkwater forces Turner to concede the dropout. And it's a step dive from Greg Bird off Michael McIlorum pass. And that may be the score that wins this quarter-final for the Catalan Dragons. But Huddersfield, you would hope, especially if you're their fans, would show something in this match.
Well, there they have. Short restart.
Nothing to lose, that gets me out my seat every time. And can they do anything else to get me excited here? They can with an offload. They've got nothing to lose, 14 points to catch up.
Hinchcliffe. Catalan can't rest on their laurels. Still 11 minutes on the clock. One try and the alarm bells might start ringing. Oliver Roberts.
Help! Release! Hold!
He is held, says the referee. Simon with the tackle. Leeming, change of direction from him. Straightens it up. Tries to get the pass away, but Sam Lower has him all wrapped up. Mikel Simon goes high. He's got blood pouring from his nose, but he's exacting some punishment on Cruz Leeming.
It's a French guillotine, isn't it? Almost takes his head off. They'll only get 2 points, penalty though. 2 points is useless.
Invented in Halifax, the guillotine.
Was it? Not far from here.
Leeming is on his back, getting checked.
It's the second time we had a look and we're trying to get this cleaned
Mikel
up.
Simon has blood coming from his nose. It has been a tough game right from the word go. Been a number of casualties as well.
He plays it tough as well, doesn't he? Mikel Simon, I know he's guilty of the headshot on Cruz Leeming, but I think he's been exceptional this evening. Mikel Simon from the prop position, very much improved. Taken a leaf, as we've said before this evening, out of Remy Caste's book, who is the natural leader in this team. And thankfully, Cruz Leeming is back, sitting upright. He gets the pat on the back from the physio, so they're obviously happy there that he's able to continue, which is good news.
Both sides have lost a player to injury in this game. Jody Broughton off for Catalan and Jake Mamo off for the Giants with injuries. Penalty meanwhile. 10 metres out. Huddersfield, if they are to overturn this now in the closing 11 minutes, need a score.
Surrender! Stand, hold, hold!
Straight away as Clough plays the ball. Leeming, little step, and Bruff! Is that the start of the fight back for the Huddersfield Giants?
Well, there's a claim of obstruction in here from Tony Gigo, but I think it's more in hope than expectation. It looked to me very much like an overchase from the Catalan Dragons defender. So it's Garcia who's the man who overchases. There is a block there on the front man, that's Michael McAlorum.
I think this will be disallowed.
Oh,
it's my call. I won't be popular here.
Oh, the cowbell.
Take a Michael McAlorum out. You can't charge through a player, can you? And stop like that.
And do you know what? He didn't. The irony was he didn't need to, because I thought Garcia had been bought by already been bought. This will be waved away.
Gareth Ewart. The try is turned down. Danny Bruff, well, a shake of the head and maybe an acknowledgement.
Well, it clearly affects how Michael McAlorum could have attempted to tackle Danny Bruff. We don't know whether he would or wouldn't, but it stopped him from trying.
Well, it's Daniel Smith who goes through, and because he doesn't pull back or go through the line, he stays in the line defensively, which is why Danny Bruff is reacting in the way he does. Correct call by the video referee.
For what?
For what? Well, for staying in the line, sir. Obstruction.
That about sums up Huddersfield Giants night, really, doesn't it? And it was the right call. Louis Anderson, and that was the moment for Huddersfield, wasn't it? That set, they got the penalty, they had Catalan on the ropes.
But they've had an hour, haven't they, and haven't been good enough with their attack in an hour to score enough points, so it doesn't just come down to that one call, that one position. You keep talking about this guy, he does keep turning up, doesn't he? Hitting the ball, hitting it forward.
Mikel Simon, named as starting prop tonight by Steve McNamara. Here's Kenny Edwards, shown up well on his debut as the ex-Parramatta man. Here's Drinkwater, Sam Moa, and again the Catalan pack have served them well tonight. So is that man, Michael McAlorum. Gigo, they've worked this one well once, they'll try it again, but this time it comes up for Aaron Murphy.
That's a long way up to the other end of the field. A good line speed, Michael McAlorum.
And Rankin looked up and said, what was that? Where did he come from? And that sums up Catalan for me tonight. Okay, the attack might not have been spot on, but in defence.
Well, just the energy as well, the energy with which they play, and Michael McAlorum is certainly one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why the Dragons invested in him last year was because of that ability to tackle, because of those shots. Not massive gambles, but can really shake up a defence and really show a team the way forward. That's not so smart though from Garcia. And this will rightly get looked at. It was late and it was low, and it's in a dangerous position. You've even seen, and he's probably done himself a massive favour as Aaron Murphy, he's actually lifted a leg off the floor in anticipation of that. That's a dangerous, dangerous way to go into a tackle.
I thought we'd scrubbed that out of the game. I thought that sort of reckless, dangerous, inconsiderate type of tackle was gone.
It's got to be a yellow card, hasn't it? If we apply the rules from the first half, a dangerous tackle there.
Without a doubt.
It's a dangerous missed tackle, really.
Gareth Hewett showing Benjamin Garcia the way for the last 8 and a bit minutes of this game. And could come to more than that for Benjamin Garcia. Widner's next up at home for the Catalan Dragons.
Yeah, you'd be incredibly surprised if he took part in that game. And you know, a message does need to be sent out to the players that this will not be tolerated. It's very, very dangerous. You're in a really vulnerable position. The whole knee complex is at risk when you send a shoulder at that sort of trajectory and with that sort of speed into the side of a knee injury. It's a knee complex rather, really, really dangerous.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but you can have 3 tries in 10 minutes. We've seen it before. The Dragons can do man-on-man defence now. They're a man down in that number. They have to use the numerical advantage now, the Huddersfield side. They're coming up to the short side.
Well, when you think of the strike they've got, Jermaine McGilvray, England international, phenomenal try scorer last year before as well, and hardly had a sight of the ball. Darnell McIntosh is no slouch either. That's going to be another penalty. And Catalan clinging on. Desperate not to allow the Giants a foothold back into this game.
They need to come away from this visit with points. And it needs to be a try. And it needs to be this set.
Well, they thought they had done last set when Brough went over. That one was disallowed. Now they have got the ball to McGilvray, who'll come back infield. Edwards chasing him and getting a hold of him. Moa is there as well.
Slider defence from the Catalan Dragons, answering all the questions that Huddersfield are throwing at them.
Cudjoe onto Turner. Across the field they come to Brough. Little step and a lovely move. And it was Sir Roberts. Referee was closely on the mark there. Murphy, the ball is batted down, and Darnell McIntosh puts a little grubber kick in, and it comes up for Lewis Tierney.
Well, they have to go for the miracle play and chance their arm, didn't they? It didn't come off, but they had to try something. They're desperate for a try. He kicks it through, hoping that they can run through, but threading the ball between defenders is a more difficult kick than it looks. You think there's more space, but only the best are able to get it through the gap.
Well, here is Tierney, and Catalan survive another assault from this Giant side. The bearded Louis Anderson.
Well, interestingly, Remy Cass has just been introduced back into the fray. He's played in a couple of stints, and he always seems to be brought on the field, and he's on the ball now just when things need settling down, just when normalcy needs to be resumed with the Catalan Dragons. I think he epitomises the very best of what they've got to offer.
Survivor of that 2007 Challenge Cup final against St Helens, Remy Casillas. McIntosh manages to keep that ball in the field of play. Bird with a follow-up tackle. Benjamin Julian there as well, but it's a long way for the Giants to come now to try and shake the Catalan grip on this game. Aaron Murphy, weary-looking Huddersfield side now. It's been a draining night, and the ball has come up for Kenny Edwards. Giants throwing the pass, and Edwards was alert to the situation and the opportunity there. Oh, and he's got cramp. And he went down with very great speed there, which cramp can do to you.
Yes.
Well, he's only just recently off a plane himself, isn't he? I think he only arrived this week. A lot of travel, probably still on a different time zone. He's had a really influential debut, hasn't he? And you look at the primary actors in this Catalan side, there are plenty of match winners in there. Gigo, Broughton, Williami, Mead, Greg Bird, I think, has been outstanding. Michael McAloran, we've discussed his contribution.
Do they need a standoff though in the second half of the season Sammy Sonilangi wears number 6. He warmed up with the team, but I don't think he's selected here tonight.
Well, we need to find a man of the match in this contest. A difficult task, and one that has fallen to John Wells.
Is it? Right.
Is it?
Well, it's a pleasure, and that's my man of the match, Remy Casti. I think in a game that's lacked quality and attacking quality in particular, you look to the cornerstones of your pack, and I think once again he's shown up. Greg Bird's had an excellent game. So has Mikel Simon. So has Michael McAlorum, but Remy Casti, I think, head and shoulders.
The ball's gone backwards, says the referee. I wonder if Catalan will go for 1 point here. They've lost a bit of ground. Over the top of Bird to Casti. Drinkwater just hanging back at the moment. That's the 4th tackle. Casti plays the ball. It's with Drinkwater. Louis Anderson. Gigot, quick hands to Benjamin Julian. Julian out to Mead. Mead to Tierney. Oh, great defence from Darnell McIntosh. You'd have thought that there was a couple of points in it.
Well, the game may be over as a contest, but Darnell McIntosh take a bow, because that's a try-saving effort. That's the sort of thing that can build an individual's confidence.
Didn't he lose the ball in the field of play? It probably should have been a scrum, a different restart, but anyway, it's still got 80 or so metres to go. Great trip back, I suppose, for the Catalan Dragons. They're on their own plane, but they can't fly back to Perpignan Open and Airport until 5 o'clock in the morning, so they're going to Manchester. They've got some sponsors on the plane with them. I'm sure it'll be an enjoyable evening, even though a very long one. That ball's gone forward there. Before they can, the airport opens in Perpignan, 5 a.m. in the morning. They'll time the flight to land just after 5.
They're going to Manchester after this, to a hotel.
To have a meal, to get the plane.
To have a quiet night.
2 a.m. the plane will fly back with them.
Well, that's tough, isn't it? I mean, you play a game like this, and you're not going to get home until
7, 8
tomorrow morning. You're not going to sleep in a hotel bed or anything like that.
The sponsors are having a great time, though, opposite. The people, the guests with them in the far side of the ground. Well, I'm sure they'll have a great evening. They don't want to get home too soon.
Meanwhile, as Phil describes the air traffic control situation in the south of France, Oliver Roberts receiving treatment on the field. We had a quick look back at that try-saving tackle from Darnell McIntosh. And latterly, you saw Braden Williami, the opposite centre, with another great defensive read, which would be really pleasing for Bernard Gouache, the chairman of the Catalan Dragons. Hasn't he had a torrid couple of years? He'd be very, very, very happy and encouraged with what he's seen. He's into a Challenge Cup semi-final.
Well, they move forward, as you say, John, into a Challenge Cup semi-final. We'll see them in Super League in round 17. They'll take on the Widnes Vikings at home. A game they'll target. Widnes will be under a new coach then, following Dennis Betts' departure. And then, of course, they're back here at the John Smith Stadium, 15th of June, play Huddersfield again.
Well, that'll be interesting. Well, Catalan on course for 4 straight League and Cup wins with this, and this will be a 6th win from their last 7 games. That's some turnaround for Steve McNamara and his team. He always said it was going to come, and they have so many other sides. Injuries to contend with, disruption. We mentioned Paul Ayton and Luke Walsh, 2 pivotal figures not available. They've had to adjust and regroup. And they're getting the reward for that now. The former Michael McAlorum is very significant as well. Here he is now. Gets the pass away to Mead. Mead, the ball off to Bird, but it's gone back, and Huddersfield have it back. Drinkwater.
What's disappointing for me with the Giants is we saw them play at the Magic up in Newcastle, and in the first half their attack was fantastic. All of the players moving around in different formations, different shapes, so many different threats for their opponents to try to defend, and yet we haven't really seen much of that again here tonight.
Back, Greg, hold. Lewis, hold.
Last couple of minutes, Catalan leading by 20 points to 6. And Steve McNamara looking to follow Mick Potter in coaching the Catalan Dragons to a Challenge Cup final. Well, they'll be a step closer after this. It's a kick chase. Tierney racing back to make sure that no Huddersfield player can get to that. Bruff trying every trick he knows.
Bruff. He's in good shape. He's in good shape. He's knocking on now, Bill, but he's still Very fit man.
There he is, Danny Brough. Frustrating night for him. He thought he got the try that had given Huddersfield the chance of a comeback, only to see it denied for obstruction. The smiles on the face of Anthony Maria and Mikel Simon. And Benjamin Garcia, maybe not so after that tackle.
Well, we were told that Chris Thorman and new coach Simon Wolford were in correspondence over the internet while Wolford awaited a visa. You should maybe reconsider, send him back, do it via the internet again, because as far as I'm concerned, this has been dreadful from the Huddersfield Giants. Really a step back in performance. Park the results. I mean, there was going to be a winner here tonight, but this Huddersfield Giants performance is a regression.
Well, it's progression for the Catalan Dragons, and they'll be happy with the performance of this man, Kenny Edwards, whose cramp is causing him problems again. Just about able to play the ball. Here is Sam Moa. We talk about Remy Casti and a big contribution from him. Sam Moa matches him in a lot of respects.
Yeah, they do. They've got a lot of players in the same image, haven't they? And I think they're increasingly influential now.
Dragon supporters very happy. Like Huddersfield supporters, as I'm sure we'll hear at the hooter, very dejected as their side bows out of the Challenge Cup. Remy Casti once again leading from the front, the Catalan Dragons captain, and his side go through to the semi-finals of the competition after this victory, 20 points to 6 here at Huddersfield.
The Catalan Dragons first side through to the semis. Bill, confirmation of the scoreline after a 4-0 half-time lead. The Dragons extended that to a 20 points to 6 victory over the Huddersfield Giants. So we know the first of the semi-finalists after the first of the quarter-finals from the Ladbrokes Challenge Cup. I hope you can join us tomorrow. We're over at Featherstone when Leeds take on Lee, 7:30 p.m. on Sky Sports Arena for that one.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.
If football's the game of two halves, then the Isuzu D-Max is the truck of two sides. It pulls up to 3.5 tons. Then inside, it's all calm, relaxed, nothing to see here, ref. Out on the field, it makes it look easy. Tough tackles, hard knocks, never back down. And sublime selectable 4x4 control puts the Isuzu D-Max in a league of its own. To see the new Isuzu D-Max Driving Derby Challenges, press the red button now.
Traffic news now.
Get your fingers in more pies with Lottoland by betting on loads of different lotteries from around the world. But why wait? With Lottoland's exclusive Euro Millionaire Go, right now the jackpot is over £60 million. And you can win it on the hour, every hour. And at lottoland.co.uk, if you don't match any numbers, we'll give you your money back.
Book tickets in advance and save money with the wisdom of an owl. And the fingers of... well, your fingers.
William Hill Casino has it all, taking you to the heart of the action wherever you are. Last year, our customers enjoyed a massive £11 million in bonuses, and now we're giving away even more, starting with £10 free for new customers. No deposit needed. William Hill Casino. This is more.
For monstrously great value, switch to Sky's totally unlimited broadband for just £18 a month for 18 months, including line rental. Plus, switching is easy with Sky's dedicated Switch Squad, as they speak to your current provider for you. So for great value, get Sky Broadband Unlimited for just £18 a month, and that includes line rental for new and existing Sky TV customers. Search Sky Broadband. Sky. Believe in better.
With the best odds on the Premier League, you get more with Betfair. More edge-of-the-seat action. More drama. More control. And more last-minute winners. Get more from Betfair. Last season, Betfair were best odds on the Premier League. Are You ready for more?